What would you say is one of the most important questions an attendee should ask at a trade show?
I am so glad you asked this question. I think it's really important, if you spend the money to attend a trade show, to engage the vendors. Don't be afraid of them. We are here to help. And so many times we see people that are walking around and they're a little timid or a little shy. You need to come in and engage the vendors because they have a lot to offer to help you grow your business. If you want to ask a probing question of a vendor, I would go in and ask them right out of the gate, how can you make my business more profitable? Show me what your company has done recently to help the profits of my company.
One of the most important questions I would probably say is that as they're walking around the floor is actually understanding what each booth is. People will walk up and just assume something and they'll think they have a solution for themselves. So talk to the salespeople and walk up and say, oh, you guys do this, this, and this, and then they have an understanding. That's probably one of the biggest things I see. People will walk up and they'll be like, oh, you do transfers. You're like, no, I do screen printing.
There's so many different variables to that. But what I typically recommend to people as far as in the DTG side, if they're here looking for equipment, is to visit every vendor that has a printer and see what they have to offer, see what the benefits are, and also the interaction of you with the salesperson. Because when you buy a piece of equipment, that's sort of like a long-term marriage. You know, you have that equipment and you have to have support, you have to know the people, you have to be comfortable with that. And if it's a quick pushy sale, you know, hey, I just want to make the sale type thing, that's not always the best thing. Now, what we try to do is just give people the information, and I think that's the key. Trade shows should be for gathering the information and seeing the product on hand so you can make a good educated decision. And that's probably the best thing you could do at the trade shows. Ask questions, and don't worry about, you know, if you think the person in the booth is going to get impatient with you. They might, but you're the customer. Ask the questions, even if it's a stupid question you think is totally, you know, basic. You might be surprised that a lot of people don't ask those questions and they never really get them answered correctly. So don't be afraid to ask questions and go in and gather as much information as you can and get to know the people that you're going to be dealing with, because it's a long-term investment and relationship. It can either be good or it can be really bad.